He tries to go for a knee strike, thinks about activating flash step, but gets kicked straight in the head and slam into a wall. Bro, all that dramatic talk for this, before you can even blink, Linful's already launched a spear strike that nearly hits him in the eye. He just manages to pull away in time. Linful says the kids lucky are in a no PK area. Otherwise, this would end it fast. Ryoki, though, is just realizing that his arm can't take much more. Then the blonde says it'd be a real shame to fight in the city. It had drawn too much attention, and afterward, he gets scolded by the boss. Tired of all that chatter, Ryoki tells him to shut up, vanishes, and suddenly appears behind him. But man, Blonde is grinning again. Without even looking back, he just slashes and cancels out our boy's movement. Then he activates Meteor Rain on his spear again, this time it lands clean. Yeah, our boy's taking a beating. Honestly, I'm with you. I think it was way too early for him to fight this guy. The dude only cleared 4 dungeons so far. The blonde even mocks him, asking if it's time to out the power on that supposed 50% since he's getting wrecked. Our boy tries to get up while the guy's laying into him, telling him to try a bit harder. It's been too easy. The bastard's even tapping the spear on the ground, saying this revenge story of his is way too weak. He grabs Ryoki by the collar and tosses him into the air, saying it's a shame he wants to keep playing. But now it's time to end this. He launches an attack into the sky that slices our boy clean in half. But just before he hits the ground, Ryoki manages to activate Flash and causes a full-on explosion. Then Linful turns to a window that just popped up in front of him. It's Gabriel, telling him to stop the fight immediately and return now. But Ryoki gets back up and says, wait, Linful can't believe the bastard is still standing after taking that hit straight on. That's not the kind of thing someone can survive a sheer willpower alone. I've unexplained that when he's using 50%, he feels less pain, but it also slows down his movements. What he doesn't get is why he uses strategy like that. It's some kind of masochist who wants to suffer longer. But Ryoki just replies that he can't give up there. He needs to take advantage of his opportunity. As Linful walks toward him, Ryoki asks if he's afraid of Gabriel. The guy's expression changes and Ryoki says, looks like I hit the nerve, huh? It's the fact that Gabriel showed up proves no one's backing Linful right now. He's sure that at this moment, Gabriel must be furious. And in the middle of that conversation, our boy was already drawing a rusty dagger. And when Linful goes to say something, gets stabbed in the neck. The bastard lets out a scream and Ryoki tells him, calm down, it was just a little cut, nothing serious. But for a guy like him, who plays loaded with items to reduce any sensation of pain, it definitely must feel different. That's because, well, Ryoki's attacks ignore any kind of pain-dampening items and the pain still hits the same. Linful's cursing and swearing, but Ryoki just says, now this is where I wanted. Let's see you raise all that hell again. Stop whining and coming me already. Here comes Blondie again. But this time, Ryoki seems to be able to redirect his spear. Now that I was confused, looked like the kid was reading his movements. And the truth is, it's something like that. Back when Ryoki was still an analyst, he reviewed everything Linful ever did over and over again. He already knows every pattern, every habit, every combat style the guy has. And considering Linful's probably never experienced this kind of pain before, his focus must be completely shot, which gives Ryoki the upper hand. While dodging, Linful mutters to himself that he needs to end this fast. He charges up a combo attack on his spear, saying it's all or nothing now. He activates one skill to boost her attack speed, one to power up skills, another to double the next attack damage, and a final one to increase crit chance. This is a combo he only ever uses on the bosses of the tower, but now he has no choice. He's got to burn it on the kid. Ryoki immediately recognizes it, it's Celestial Meteorane. He knows he can use the terrain to his advantage to get away from this guy. He just has to make sure not to step out of the PK zone. He starts running that Linful gets closer, saying he's still too slow. Until suddenly, bam, a wooden doll smacks Linful right in the face. Our boy starts creating as much distance as possible, setting off a rain of random junk items from those trashy roulette boxes he's always opening. Problem is, Linful walks through everything like it's nothing and goes in for another spear strike from behind. The attack slices half the mountain and Linful grumbles, saying this kid is seriously annoying. Ryuki is down, but he managed to dodge a direct hit. And now, while holding the spear, he says, "Finally, I guide you right where I wanted." Linful tells him to take his filthy hands off that weapon and not stain it with his rotten blood. But Ryuki starts pulling the spear, saying he's excited to show him something really fun. "Oh man, is this it? That's SSR you mentioned way back." He said he was saving for Linful. He apparently tested it earlier on Surreal's wings, something that wasn't even a skill or an item. Linful's confused, wants to know what the hell is happening to his spear. And oh man, a spear starts disintegrating. Ryuki can unlock the SSR system man and just deleted his spear, yet we're crossing over with that Troll C storyline from the other day. Full system level stuff now. The spear crumbles into dust and Linful is standing there, not understanding what just happened. Looking at his hand, the dude's on the verge of tears. That was a unique item. And now it's not even in his inventory anymore. This game doesn't even have a destruction mechanic, so how is this possible? He's convinced the bastard is using some kind of cheap trick. But right then, bang, Ryuki shoots him in the shoulder. Our boy says, "I was aiming for your heart, but you reacted pretty fast." Linful, still confused, wants to know where the hell this guy got a pistol. Ryuki just tells him to stop crying and explains. The very data that registered your spear in this world, it's gone. There's no bringing it back. That's the power of his skill, SSR Delete, a system-level ability that overrides even the game's own authority and erases the data of items inside the labyrinth. The only activation condition, you'd have to hold the target object for 5 seconds. And it can only be used 4 times a week. Linful pulls another spear from his inventory saying he doesn't know what tricks this bastard's using, but he'll finish him off with any weapon. But at that moment, Ryuki is already backing away, taunting. "Come on then, try and catch me." The idea comes charging and shouting that he's not letting him get away. But then stepping where he showed it, Linful steps on a bomb. Man, our boy is the king of FPS, seriously. As soon as the guy got hit by the bomb, Ryuki followed up with more shots to the chest than Ryuki says. "You better stand real still, Linful. This whole area is covered in mines." The guy's expression shifts. Once again, this bastard had some item that Linful had no idea how it was even created. And with the very next step, click. Ryuki just says it's stupid to think he hadn't planned for this. Linful's desperate, but our boy tells him to think real hard. Any movement now is extremely risky. And on top of that, he lets him know that this entire setup has been in place since the moment Linful made his first move. That's because Ryuki already knew all of Linful's patterns. And he knew that once he started making noise, he'd be dragged exactly to this spot. All Linful can do now is be grateful for having fallen right into the trap. Linful gets tired of hearing all that and charges toward him. But of course, boom, the mine under his foot goes off. When the smoke starts clearing, he spots something in the distance, but it's clearly a decoy doll. He rushes in, slamming an attack through its head, yelling that he finally won. But only he had no miss, but was obvious to everyone. And now Ryuki is standing right beside him, coming down from 5 to 1. At 0, boom, another spear disintegrates. He's got a gun pointed right at Linful's face and the guy realizes looks like the kid wasn't lying. Maybe to Starlight spear really was deleted. Ryuki activates ignition and slams Linful into a boulder. The guy's down, groaning that sooner or later, Ryuki is going to pay for this. But the moment he tries to log out, the request is cancelled. He wonders why and bam, sword to the back. Of course, it's iGun, stopping him from lording out. Ryuki says he's being way too serious to let him run away at a moment like this. He slams Linful's face into the ground and calls out Linful Deriest. "Do you remember the guy who used to get an analyst in your guild named Ryuki? Linful asks why he remembers something like that. I'll never remember who you are. Ryoki asks if he really won't remember, even if it means never being able to play again. He reminds him, each person is only allowed one account in the game. At moment happen if he uses ability and deleted that account. Maybe then, you'd never forget my face. Linful shouts at him to take his hands off, but Ryoki starts counting. 5, 4, 3, and then we see Gabriel first hold someone to look into this Rio 7017. 2, 1, Linful still pretending not to care, scratching his ear, saying he doesn't give a damn about that person. 0, the guy screams and just like that, he's deleted. Now I don't know if he's really gone, if he's ever coming back or what just happened exactly, but Viggen's praising him saying he did it. But man, Ryoki, the demon of vengeance, just says he hasn't done anything yet. This was only the beginning. There were still plenty of people who had to pay for what